What if I told you that in just 3 months, you could completely transform your life? It might sound crazy, but it's true. Research shows that the average person spends 90,000 hours of their life working, but 80% of people are unhappy with their jobs. Imagine if that time was spent building the life you truly want instead. I was in the same boat, feeling stuck and overwhelmed. Then, I picked up a book that changed everything. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share how a few small changes led to big results in just 3 months. This isn't about big, impossible goals. It's about simple, daily steps that anyone can take, no matter where they're starting from. In this video, we'll dive into the powerful strategies that made my transformation possible. Get ready to discover how tiny shifts in your habits, mindset, and actions can completely change your future. Stick around, you won't want to miss this. Chapter 1. The Hidden Key. Unlocking the Power of Tiny Shifts. When I first picked up this book, I thought I needed a massive overhaul in my life. I believed I needed to make huge, drastic changes to see any kind of real transformation. But one of the first lessons that hit me hard was simple: small, daily shifts can lead to big changes over time. This idea is rooted in something known as the compound effect, which means that small actions, when repeated consistently, add up to big results. In fact, a study from Duke University found that about 40% of our daily actions are habits, which means most of what we do is automatic. Imagine turning those small habits into powerful routines that move you toward your goals every day. It doesn't take monumental effort, it just takes consistent effort. For example, rather than setting a goal to read 10 books this year, why not commit to reading just 10 pages a day? Over the course of 3 months, you'll have read a whole book, and over the course of a year, you'll have finished 4 books. That's the magic of tiny, consistent shifts. Another fascinating idea from the book is that micro-habits are often more effective than big, bold resolutions. Want to exercise more? Instead of committing to an hour at the gym every day, start with just 5 minutes of stretching in the morning. It's easier to start small, and once you build that habit, you'll naturally increase the time and effort. And here's the kicker: these micro-habits don't just change what you do, they change how you see yourself. As you show up every day and make these tiny shifts, you begin to see yourself as a person who is disciplined, healthy, and proactive. The book talks about how this shift in self-identity is powerful. Instead of thinking of yourself as someone who wants to get fit or needs to improve, you start thinking of yourself as someone who is a person who works out regularly, or a lifelong learner. Identity-based habits, as the book describes them, are far more sustainable because they align with who you are. The idea of focusing on tiny shifts in behavior isn't just motivational fluff, it's backed by science. Researchers like B.J. Fogg, a behavior scientist at Stanford, argue that small habits are more effective for long-term change because they feel less intimidating and are easier to stick with. Once I understood this principle, everything changed for me. I stopped aiming for perfection and started focusing on progress. And this mindset shift, though small, has had an enormous impact on my personal development journey. Chapter 2. The Unseen Formula. How my thoughts rewrote my destiny. In this chapter, the book dives deep into the power of mindset and how our thoughts shape the direction of our lives. One of the most eye-opening concepts is that your thoughts don't just reflect your reality, they create it. It's an idea rooted in the science of neuroplasticity, which shows that our brains are capable of changing and adapting based on our thoughts and experiences. The book teaches us that our internal dialogue, that voice in our head, is one of the most powerful forces we have. If you keep telling yourself that you're not good enough, you're conditioning your brain to accept that belief as your reality. On the other hand, if you shift your internal dialogue toward positivity and possibility, your brain starts to look for opportunities, not obstacles. Here's an interesting statistic. According to research by the National Science Foundation, the average person has around 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts per day, and a staggering 80% of those thoughts are negative. Imagine the impact of shifting even a small percentage of those thoughts toward positivity. The book talks about a strategy called thought stopping, where you actively interrupt negative thoughts with positive ones. It's a simple yet powerful technique that can instantly change your mood and focus. When you catch yourself thinking something like, "I can't do this," replace it with, "I am capable of handling this challenge." But here's the thing. Just having positive thoughts isn't enough. You need to combine them with action. The book emphasizes that success comes not from wishful thinking, but from taking consistent, small steps toward your goals, powered by your positive mindset. Another key takeaway is visualization. The author shares a story about an Olympic athlete who used visualization to achieve peak performance. This practice involves imagining yourself succeeding in specific situations, which helps your brain recognize those situations as opportunities rather than threats. By changing your mindset, you literally rewire your brain. As you start thinking like the person you want to become, you start acting like that person. And when you act like that person, you start getting the results that person would get. The transformation I experienced after adopting this strategy was nothing short of incredible. By shifting from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, I not only felt more confident, but I also became more resilient in the face of challenges. Chapter 3. Beyond Goals. The secret to becoming your future self today. This chapter challenges the traditional notion of goal setting by asking a simple, yet profound question. Who do you want to become? It turns the focus away from the typical, what do I want to achieve, mindset and instead asks you to think about your identity. The author explains that most people make the mistake of setting goals based on what they want to do, not who they want to be. For example, someone might set a goal to lose 20 pounds. But what if they thought of themselves as a healthy, active person, rather than just someone trying to lose weight? The book emphasizes that when you adopt the identity of the person you want to become, your actions will naturally follow. This idea is known as identity-based goals. Instead of focusing on the destination, focus on the kind of person you need to be to reach that destination. If your goal is to write a book, start by identifying yourself as a writer. Begin thinking, I am a writer, rather than, I want to be a writer. This subtle shift in mindset helps you make decisions that align with your future self. According to James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, identity-based habits are far more effective than outcome-based habits. When you change your identity, your behaviors change because your behaviors are a reflection of who you believe you are. Another powerful concept introduced in this chapter is the idea of future self-thinking. The author encourages you to imagine who you will be 3, 5, or even 10 years from now, and start making decisions today that align with that version of yourself. Studies show that people who engage in future self-visualization are more likely to make better decisions today. By connecting with your future self, you create a sense of urgency and purpose in the present, which motivates you to act. Adopting this mindset has had a profound impact on my own journey. By visualizing my future self as a confident, successful person, I've been able to make choices that align with that vision, whether it's speaking confidently in public or taking risks I would have previously avoided. When you focus on becoming your future self today, it gives you more than just motivation, it gives you a sense of direction and purpose. And that, as the book explains, is the secret to unlocking long-term success and fulfillment. If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future strategies and tips for personal growth. Chapter 4. Emotion is Energy. How I harnessed my inner fire. In this chapter, the book introduces an idea that shifted everything for me. Emotions are energy. That's right, our emotions are not just feelings we experience, they're powerful forces that can drive us or drain us. The author explains that understanding and harnessing your emotional energy is key to achieving personal growth. By managing emotions, you can unlock the fuel needed to take consistent action toward your goals. The book shares a fascinating study from the Harvard Medical School that found emotions can directly impact physical health. Negative emotions like stress, anxiety, and anger can weaken the immune system, while positive emotions can boost it. This research shows that how we feel isn't just an internal experience, it has real-world consequences. One strategy the book focuses on is emotional regulation. It's about understanding your emotions, not ignoring them. The book encourages you to recognize when negative emotions arise and then choose how to react. For example, instead of letting frustration derail your day, you can take a moment to breathe deeply, reset your thoughts, and refocus on your goals. Another strategy is emotional reframing. This means changing your perspective on a challenging situation. For instance, if you fail at something, instead of viewing it as a setback, you can see it as a valuable lesson that brings you closer to your ultimate success. Reframing helps turn negative emotions into opportunities for growth. The book also teaches that emotions are contagious. If you are constantly surrounded by negativity, it can be hard to maintain a positive mindset. On the flip side, if you surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you, their energy can fuel your own. The concept of energy vampires versus energy givers is a real thing, and the book encourages us to be mindful of who we allow into our emotional space. Chapter 5. The Power of Pause. Why doing less actually gets you more. At first, the idea of slowing down to go faster seemed counterintuitive. But after reading this chapter, it all clicked. The author explains that constant hustle and grind often lead to burnout and decreased productivity. It's not about doing more, it's about doing less, but with more focus and intention. The book introduces the concept of strategic rest, which emphasizes the importance of taking breaks to recharge. Studies from the University of Illinois show that taking regular breaks during work actually improves focus and productivity. The research found that after a 20-minute break, people's cognitive performance increased by 40%. So, when you feel yourself burning out, it's time to take a pause, not push harder. One technique the book recommends is the Pomodoro technique, where you work in short bursts of 25 minutes, followed by a 5-minute break. These small intervals of deep work, combined with rest, help keep your mind sharp and focused. I started using this method, and it transformed my productivity. I realized that by focusing on one task at a time, I could accomplish more in less time. The book also suggests practicing mindfulness during breaks. Instead of scrolling through social media or mindlessly watching TV, take a walk, meditate, or simply sit quietly and reflect. These mindful pauses can reset your mind, leading to better decisions and a clearer sense of direction. Chapter 6. The Ripple Effect. How one book can change everything. In this final chapter, the author talks about the ripple effect that personal growth can have on your life and the lives of those around you. The idea is simple. When you change yourself, you don't just improve your own life, you inspire others to change as well. This ripple effect can create a cycle of positive change that spreads outward, affecting your family, your friends, and even your community. The book highlights the concept of leading by example. When you embody the principles you've learned, you become a living testament to the power of personal development. People start to notice your transformation, and they're curious about how you did it. This curiosity often sparks their own desire for change. It's not just about your personal success, it's about creating a culture of growth around you. The author shares a powerful example of a woman who, after changing her own mindset and habits, went on to positively influence her workplace, her family, and even her community. Her ripple effect was far-reaching and impactful. This chapter encourages you to think beyond your own growth and consider how your actions can inspire others. In fact, research shows that people who are part of supportive communities or groups are more likely to achieve their personal goals. This sense of shared growth and accountability creates an environment where everyone rises together. Don't forget to hit subscribe for more tips on how to transform your life, one small step at a time.